Hi everyone, this is Laura Lee of Laura Lee and Me. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited that you're here. In this video, I'm going to be putting together my first ever cash envelope wallet, which will be this one, and my first ever cash savings envelope binder, which is going to be this one. So I'm going to be discussing my tips and tricks that I've discovered to optimize these new binders from my personal needs and my aesthetic preferences without having to go out and buy and spend more money on kind of the fancier stuff, especially since, I'm just starting out, and I know a lot of other people are in that position too, and they don't really have the available funds to go out and get like the more expensive products that are out there, which are beautiful. And you can make a lot of those things on your own, but I wanted to show how you can do it with just having to get one of these little systems that are relatively inexpensive. And I wanted to show you how I step by step changed them and altered them to kind of fit better for what my needs would be, and hopefully they will help you too. So I'm going to show you my process and my setup for those. And I'm also going to be talking about and showing you a binder that I've already set up in the kind of aesthetic and the kind of way that I want it to be set up. And I've been using it, and it's been working really well for me, which is why I wanted to share my setup with these, and I've waited. So the binder that I've already made is my priority sinking funds binder. So I wanted to discuss with you my cash envelope system intentions, since I'm starting in the last quarter of the year, and I want to explain how I've rearranged my system to be able to fund those end of year expenses in a condensed amount of time. And then I also have a little mini unboxing to do. I bought some savings trackers for this savings binder from an online company by the name of the Millennial Dollar. So I'll show you that as well. So it's gonna be a fun video. Everything that you see in this video, like these two binders and this one, and kind of everything that I'm going to be showing you, it's all going to be linked in my description below, along with some of my other, favorite cash stuffing and budgeting favorite things. So let's get into it. So I wanted to start off by showing you kind of the one I've already made, and kind of so you get an idea of what these ones are going to look like in a general sense. So I made this one first because I wanted to prioritize my most important sinking funds. My intentions are to have a couple more binders that I'm going to be stuffing into when the new year comes. But for right now, since, we are starting I started the process in August. But, something I think that doesn't get talked about enough is that before you even buy these binders, there's so much budgeting and finances that go into, before you even purchase one of these. I really highly advise that you really analyze your bills, your expenses for the month, expenses for the week, especially if you're someone like me who has children. My husband and I have 3 children, and we have one on the way. So we are considered a big family. So we're going from 5 to 6. My husband and I are a blended family as well. So we have a lot going on with our finances every month. So it's a lot. Sometimes, at least for me, it was really difficult to kind of get everything together where it needs to be. So maybe that's you too. Maybe it's going to be a longer process in the beginning for you, but it's a lot of setup in the beginning. And then once you finally figure out what you need to do and where your money is going to be best placed, that's when you're going to be able to understand it like your finances better. So you have to have a really good understanding of what your family's financial needs or your personal financial needs are before you even get into this. But this is my priority one. I have some envelopes in here that I have been using in lieu of not having my wallet binder set up. So this is a really good cost-effective way. Like if you don't even want to invest in one of these two, I believe they are under $10. This one was, I think, even cheaper than that. But I did invest in them. But if you didn't want to, if you just wanted to get some envelopes, Dollar Store sells envelopes like this. You can just do it this method. Honestly, this worked really well for me. It's kind of the same concept. But I used these myself since I didn't have the wallet. So, but if you are going to use this method, all I did was I just got some envelopes, some normal ones. And I had these colorful ones just laying around my house. So usually people have envelopes kind of just laying around. There's a lot of other different options if you don't want to buy the binders at first. I totally get that. Like even under my desk, I have envelopes. So if you want to do this method, that's fine. And that's a good idea because as long as you're starting, that's the most important part. But all I did with these is I just labeled what would be my wallet labels, and you just open it up. I put the trackers in. Some people don't put trackers in their wallet. Some people do, but I did. So I just have a tracker in there. And then since these are not like the longer envelopes, I did fold the money. So that way it just kind of slides in and out easier. And that's literally it. So, and I have used it. So we ate out yesterday morning. And we took the kids out to breakfast, so all of that one's gone. So I'm going to set these to the side. Okay, so this is my priority sinking funds binder. This is the only sinking funds other than the savings that I'm going to set up that I'm going to have right now. This one is my condensed version. So if you're someone like me and you're starting in the last quarter of the year, so you're starting September, October, November, December, and you're like, I really need to save for Christmas. Like, I have not saved anything to this point. So I am starting completely over. I'm starting from the very bare minimum. And this is the method that I'm going to use. So I had to condense my finances. So I have an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm thinking about maybe sharing that eventually with you guys as a editable tool, because the one that I made is very like cash budgeting specific. It will help you kind of organize your goals. I have a little mini version of it in the back here that I just printed out on some cardstock. Like, this is just my finances. These are my goals. Like, these are the envelopes I have in just this one. So this was a segment from the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet that I have also has things like, it has all of my bills on it. It has all of my husband's and my incomes on it. And which is really important because my husband is the one in the household who works, and I'm the one who's responsible for, staying home with the kids, getting everyone where they need to go. Like I said, we're a blended family, so we are very mobile a lot. So that's just what works best for my family right now. So the envelopes that I'm prioritizing for the end of the year. So this is it for me, other than the savings in my wallet that I'm going to do. My intention is to have, a secondary sinking funds binder, and then to also make a binder that is more geared towards my children. Like I said, I'm going to have 4 kids by the new year. So it's just something I really want to start focusing on. I homeschool my youngest, and our 2 older children, they are in school. And, we are considering homeschooling them as well. But, you know, being a blended family, there's a lot of, you know, stuff that has to get figured out if we're going to do that. But for now, like they'll have their own binder in the new year, so you'll get to see me set that up later too. But for now, this is what I'm working with. So I am working with Christmas, emergency, extra debt. My husband and I have a lot of extra debt, unfortunately, because we have been in multiple custody battles over the past 5 years. So this is a big priority for us. We have my birthday and my husband's birthday before the end of the year. We have my children's grandfather's birthday before the end of the year. One of my sons has a birthday left in the end of the year. I am a really big gift giver. I love giving my friends gifts. I love giving my family gifts. So this is something I really prioritize a lot. My friends also have kids. My kids also have friends, and I like to be able to get them, you know, reasonable but nicer things for their birthdays too. And I know that my kids love to go shopping and make sure that they can have, you know, enough to pick out something that they know that their friend is going to like. We do Sam's. I know a lot of people do Costco, but Sam's is the one that we do, and we use this quite a bit. So, and then we have Halloween. I know I'm starting super late with Halloween too. So, you know, kids' costumes could be really expensive, especially when you're buying for 3, going on 4. So that's a priority for us. Thanksgiving, and then we have our baby shower in October as well. So we're saving for that. And then I had a little savings tracker in the back here before I made this one, just in case I had some extra left over before I got to making this video, and so I had somewhere to save this. And then, like I said, in the back is my little condensed tracker for, you know, the 4th quarter starting. So I'm going to go through really quick, and I want to explain to you like a little bit about the envelopes, and so that way you know what we're going to be doing when we set these up. So this, you'll note, so this is the same as what you'll see in, let me find one, in here. So like these are the same as these. You see they have the little like closures. They're the same. So those are the same exact thing. But what I did is I didn't like the bulkiness of the zippers being all in there, and I wanted to be able to fit as many of these in here as I needed. So I needed there to be 12 in here, and there was 12 that came in this pack. So, you know, I had to kind of trial and error a couple things, but what I did is I only used what came with this binder to make it. So there was no extra cost really. I had these little labels already at home, so I didn't have to buy those. And these ones actually come with little blank labels like this, so that's really convenient. And all I did was, you know, I just wrote I just used my own handwriting, and so this little number in the top, these are my target goals for each envelope. I know a lot of people don't put those on there, but for me, I like having, you know, some kind of little reminder here, at least for right now, especially while I'm starting out, so I have something to look towards. So I'm like, okay, I'm this far away from my goal. It's right there. I don't have to like flip to the back and like check and see how close I am. It's right there, and I like that. That's just my personal preference. But you'll notice that there's no zipper up here. So I'm going to show you what I did to get that. It's not a perfect science, but you know what? It's a lot easier for me to get in and pull out what I need and stuff it back in, and then just kind of more quickly organize it. Plus, when I close it, it'll actually close. And people have a love-hate relationship with these magnetic closures. I don't really mind them very much. But there's so much extra space in there for stuffing that I can even put these envelopes that I had in there. Because remember, this has been like my working wallet. I can put these in there, and I can still close it very comfortably. So, okay, so Christmas obviously is very self-explanatory. Christmas is a big thing for our family. We have multiple children. I love Christmas. My husband is funny because he always says that one of the things he gets me for my birthday is a non-Grinchy attitude for Christmas. He's silly like that. So that's a big priority. That's one of my top 3 priorities for before the end of the year. So I'm prioritizing that. I'm going to put as much in these top 3 priority envelopes as possible before the end of the year. And then when the new year comes, I'm going to have a whole reset. So you guys will see that. And then emergency is a really big one for us. We currently don't have any emergency funds, and I know that that's awful, but that's where our finances have been. They've been a wreck. Like I mentioned before, we've been through multiple custody battles. It's been a lot. So we are literally starting from the ground up. And I've tried budgeting in the past. I've tried different financial avenues to help us save money, and none of them have worked. So I have a really good feeling about this method, and I'm excited to see how it works. But already so far, even just having done one iteration of this, we've already saved money. So this system is working for me and my family. So I really hope it will work for you too. But so we already have $100 in emergency. That's great. That's more than we've had in a really long time. So that's a main priority. My next priority is our extra debt. I think I explained a little bit about this earlier, but we have a lot of extra debt due to the custody battles that we've been in. So, we have credit cards and stuff like that, and you'll see that in some of my other videos, how I separate those, and I'll go into greater detail about, this is basically just going to be for us and for our family, an extra debt payment per month that we're going to try to allocate to whatever debt that really needs it the most. And we are going to try to use the snowball method when it comes to those. So you'll get to see that journey too. Okay, next one is my birthday, my husband's birthday. My birthday's in November, my husband's birthday is in September, so I'm currently saving for my husband's birthday, which is in a couple weeks. So like I said, this is a very condensed amount of time to be doing everything. So, the amounts in here are going to be bigger than they would be during the rest of the year. Where I only have just these envelopes to stuff into as my priorities, so I don't have any secondary, funds. And then my father-in-law has a birthday this month, so saving for that. My middle child, he has his birthday in October, so saving for that. That's a priority for us. Gifts I already explained a little bit about, but that's what I'm just going to have that extra envelope in here because we do have a lot of birthdays in the last half of the year. And, it can also act as a little buffer for one of these other birthdays. If I go over a little bit, I can kind of pull from this if I really need to. Sam's, like I said, we're a big family, so we do need bulk things. I pack, my older children's lunches every day. My daughter eats at home with me most of the week to save us money. And so, we end up buying, bulk deli meat and bulk cheese and, so stuff like that we are going to go through. My husband, he takes his lunch to work. So we try to cut costs everywhere we can, and, not eating out as much was one of the best ways for us, because when we go out to eat, it's $60 because there's 5 of us, even with a little one. So I prioritize this one and usually put a little more into this one than I would something else. Sorry if you guys can hear the alarm going off in the background. My cats are outside walking around and they keep setting it off. Halloween is coming. I try to cut costs wherever I can with Halloween too. We have some pretty good thrift stores around here. We have a Once Upon a Child around here. I'll usually go and I'll see if, those places have a costume that, is very gently used. Some other tips I have for this are you can check Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes your area will have consignment events. I know that mine does. We have a consignment event that happens twice a year. And in the fall one, I saw that they had all these costumes. So next year, I'm going to check and see if they have, or if they have anything that my children would be interested in. But, you know, those are just some tips on how to save for Halloween. Halloween can be one of those like surprisingly expensive costs, because those if you go to like a Spirit Halloween, or if you go to like, you know, somewhere else like that to get your costume in person, you're going to be spending at least $20 per child. That's without accessories. So, and you know how kids are, they love the accessories. So, you know, it's just something that I want to make sure that we have money set aside for, so we don't have to worry about it. Thanksgiving this year we are hosting, which I'm really excited about. Me being pregnant and due in December, we can't really travel like we usually do. So we are having family come to us. So I'm setting aside money to make sure that we can like host appropriately, and, you know, make sure that we can, you know, have a big enough turkey for everyone, you know, stuff like that. Thanksgiving is a really big holiday for our family. We love to get together during Thanksgiving, and it just really, it's a big thing for us. So I'm prioritizing saving for that. And then we have our baby shower, which is going to be in October. This number is kind of high, but, you know, like when you're trying to figure out how to plan, because usually I think our guest list is going to be about 30 people. That's what it was for my 2 July babies' birthday. So that's kind of like our friend group. So it'll be plus or minus a couple people, but I have really big plans for this. And I have great in-laws. They are always looking to help. So I know that they'll help a little bit with this, you know, budget. So anything that's left over from this envelope is going to go into my kids binder in the new year. So I have intentions for this, even if this number doesn't get reached. It's going to be okay. Like this should be your goal number. Like this is what you're looking for. Like if you don't meet that minimum weekly goal for yourself, like I set weekly goals to try to like see if I can allocate the funds so I can make these amounts work before the end of the year. Don't beat yourself up about it. Finances are going to change every single week. My husband gets paid weekly, and then we also get an additional check monthly. So it's, you know, your finances are going to shift. I mean, you might be one of those households that has like a very consistent income, but I know that at least for me and for my family, you know, the finances change every week. So it's a lot to keep up with, but it's also kind of fun too. And then I already talked about this. This is just like my extra savings. So if I had anything I could stuff in here, I would just kind of put it in there and then just keep track of it. Really simple. If you don't want to have a savings binder, like with some savings challenges, like if that's not really your thing, if you just kind of want a more simplified version, a simplified way of just kind of putting it all in one place, I would suggest doing this. Just have one and then just write them in on the back. So, and then of course, you know, my little sheet in the background. So that is all for this, for my priority binder.